April 21st. Thanks for joining me for the Outlaw Pulpit. I want to talk to you about how to kill a church. Now, there's a topic coming from a pastor of a church, actual brick and mortar style church building. But yeah, how to kill a church. What's interesting to me about the church and New Testament, and I wholeheartedly believe that the New Testament church is the heartbeat of God. As we read through the New Testament, I mean, Paul over and over again is thanking churches. He's pointing out things that are wrong with it as well. But in Romans chapter 1, verses 18 through 32, Paul records as he looked out the window while there and just got some thoughts down. And I pulled some thoughts from that, that if you want to destroy a church, let a pastor show you how. How about that? So, the first step that I would say is if you're going to destroy a church, number one, destroy unity. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10, it says, I appeal to you, brothers, in the name of our Lord Jesus, that all of you agree with one another so that there may be no divisions among you and that you may be perfectly united in mind. So forget whose you are is how you would take the step in destroying unity. Stop acting like a child of God and act like a child of the devil, and bingo, you've destroyed unity. Now, I'm going to step on toes here. There's a lot of people in our churches acting like child of the devil, and they good, well-meaning Christian folk. But really, what they're doing is they're destroying unity. In fact, what they're doing is they offer more critiques about the church than they offer to help the church. And the easiest thing to do at that point is to leave, but they don't. So what they do is they just sit there and fester and whatever. And, well, then they're destroying unity because, as I'll talk about later, there is something very special going on there. So forget whose you are. Forget who you are. As a Christian, you're a representative of God here on this earth. Forget that, and you'll destroy unity. Forget your mission. What's the mission of your church? For us at Radiant Fellowship in Wapaka, Wisconsin, it's accepting real relational. Those are what we do. We do these things. But why does God leave us here on earth after we are saved? Well, is it to critique the pastor, the sermon, the church, the music, etc.? No, it is to lead the lost to Jesus. But if you destroy the unity, we lose that focus. Here's step number 2 on how to destroy a church. Destroy harmony. Again, we see in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 11 through 12, it says, my brothers, some from Chloe's household have informed me that there are quarrels among you. Surely not in churches today. What I mean is this, he says, one of you says, I follow Paul, another says, I follow Apollos, another, I follow Cephas, and still another, I follow Christ. So destroy harmony by fighting about everything. The color of the paint, where the pews are. Do you have chairs versus pews? The length of the service. Start fighting about all of that stuff. Start fighting about who's in charge, because you can't have hundreds of chefs in a kitchen. So start fighting about who's in charge, and you will destroy the harmony. You want to reveal, pastors of churches that may be listening to this, if you want to find the true character of somebody, give them a little power. I've seen this over the last 26 years of being a credentialed minister. Many of them do awesome, but many of them, a handful of them, really implode once they are given a little bit of power. So you should surround yourself with people that inspire you, challenge you, people that make you better, and then that will counteract the destroying of humanity. So point number 3, destroy humility. There are 3 ways to destroy humility within the church. I'm reminded of the words of Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, kind of continuing on here. It says, is Christ divided? Was Paul crucified for you? Were you baptized in the name of Paul? I am thankful that I did not baptize any of you except Crispus and Gallus, so no one can say that you were baptized in my name. For Christ did not send me to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with words of human wisdom, lest the cross be emptied of its power. So destroy humility. How do we do that? Well, forget who died for us. We can get so wrapped up, and pastors are guilty of this well, we can get so wrapped up in the work of the church, the work of the ministry, that we kind of forget what this is really all about, and we neglect our own personal relationship with Christ. Pastors are really guilty of this. I've been down this road before where we consider our sermon study our personal devotion, and really it's two different things. The sermon is what the church needs to hear. The devotion is what I need to hear, okay? So, destroy humility, easy. Forget who died for you. Forget who gets the credit for what God is doing. We can walk out of church and say, wow, isn't it great what our worship leader has done? Wow, what an awesome sermon our pastor gave. As flattering as that is, and I do like to hear once in a while, what a good sermon. I would much rather hear people walk out of the church and say, wow, what a great God we serve. So forget who gets the credit for what God is doing, and you're destroying humility. Forget who has the power. We're just instruments of God. And when we begin to feel powerful because God is using us, don't forget who has the power. And then lastly, number 4, destroy purity. God works through a clean vessel, and a lot of churches, I've been a part of them, are just dirty. They're messed up. They're ugly. And, I'm not talking about the people ourselves that come in. I mean, that's what Jesus is all about, is taking a dirty person, a person in need of a redemption, and cleaning us and getting us on the right path. But just a dirty church, gossip, slander, negativity, critiquing, all of that stuff. If you're going to be that person in church, do yourself a favor and do everybody else in that church a favor and leave. Go be a blessing somewhere else. Here's the deal. That church, unless you've been a charter member, that is a founding member. My grandma was the founding member of the church that she raised my mom in, and that's the church my mom raised us in. And so if unless you're a founding member, that church has survived without you up until you arrived, and it's going to be okay if you take off as well. So, I don't mean to burst the bubble of ego and all that stuff, but, if you're going to do these 4 things, destroy unity, destroy harmony, destroy humility, and destroy purity, well, then you've successfully killed the church. I hope that's not you. Something to think about, though. Send me your thoughts, questions, comments. I'll address them on my I'm Your Huckleberry segment of this podcast. You can send them to outlawpulpit@gmail.com. Have an awesome day.